Hey y'all, this is Dave, aka Freak from Yak Chat or Hellsoft or Excite, whatever you want to call it nowadays. VP. I guess I'm basically in Yak now. Anyways, I have decided to make a couple of videos using this great program called Camtasia, and it's basically just a screen recorder. But I decided to record myself painting and not just babble on as I paint, so you guys can see how I do my paints, and maybe you can learn from it or whatever. Maybe pick up a couple of tips. Maybe you can add stuff in the comments and teach me a few things. I'm not sure how this is going to go, but anyways, this is how I basically paint. I've already made one recording and it somehow disappeared, which kind of sucks. It was about 35 minutes, which was, I'll show you this one here. Let's pick it up a little bit. This is my beginning one, and you can see the stages that I went through, and then my normal logo that I use. Anyways, I'm going to try it on this one now. So basically what I do when I start is I bring my app into Photoshop. Well, I use Photoshop, not PSP like most people, and it's an older version of Photoshop. Let's see if I can get the version that I use. What is it about plugins? Nope, about Photoshop. So this is what I use. I use CS5 Extended, which is version 12.1. You can see here that it's like 2011, so it is quite old. But anyways, that's what I use for painting my abs. I do have the newer version, but I basically use that for more photo manipulation and just color correcting and stuff like that for photos that I've taken. Anyways, what I do is I usually open up my my app and bring it in, and I go to image mode. It's up here, and I make sure it's on YGB. Usually when you open up, it's only index color, so I make sure that's on, and I make sure it's rasterized. Right now it's on Smart Object, so I rasterize it, and I always make a copy. So now I have two copies there, and that's basically how I start. And basically all I do is I make a layer every time I do something to an effect or adjustment or color adjustment or whatever have you. I make a new layer and I make a mask, and whatever I like that I adjust it, I keep, and whatever I don't like that I adjust it, I don't keep. And it's just a continuing process. Every time I do something for it, I make a mask, and the same steps, and then I just keep going on and on and on. So it's a lot of layers and a lot of masks. And we'll just get going. So basically, there's my first one, and then it's not colored yet, so I'm going to color it. And basically, I'm not really big on like have like a certain color that I use. It doesn't really matter because I adjust it later on while painting, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm just gonna grab a sample from this one that I just did earlier that I lost my recording on. So I'm just going to pick up a color by using my the Alt. I'm holding down the Alt, and I have my brush thing on, and that takes the color sample. So that's my present color there. Now I'm just going to go back to my other one, and we can use turn it down to color for mode, and have it on 100%, and you can basically just color. Ooh, it's very orangey, eh? But like I said, it doesn't really matter because you change it later on in life. So I just color over everything. It doesn't matter. Over all the skin parts. And ta-da, it's colored. So I'm going to make another copy of the original just because. Okay, so now I'm going to make another mask over here. Make sure this is on black, and I'm going to go over the parts that I colored that I didn't want to color, like the eyes and the teeth. And oh, there's another shortcut. I'm holding down the Alt key, and if I go, well, that's a sample. If I use the right button on your mouse. When I go left or right, that increases or decreases my brush size, and if I go up and down, that increases or decreases the softness. So that's just, you know, a short key that I use all the time without even thinking about it. But anyways, so that's basically his skin colored, and I'm just going to merge it down. There it goes. So now I'm going to make another layer, and let's see. I don't really like the color itself. Looks kind of orange to me right off the bat, so I'm going to go. I usually use Control B as a shortcut, but I'll show you this way just because. Under adjustments, and you can see color balance here. You can see the shortcut there, Control B. Click on it, and then you got this thing. And basically it breaks down to shadows, midtones, and highlights. You start with your shadows. And so this, you know, the bags of the eyes and the shadows of the face, it affects that area more than anything else. So usually you just sort of like play with these ones, like that's obviously too blue and that's obviously too red, and you just sort of fiddle with it. And then go with the highlights, you do the same thing. You just do the same thing over like that. That's too red, that's too green, and you just sort of play with it till you get something that you like. Too green, too purple, and something like that. This one's too blue and too yellow, and you just sort of go back and forth till you figure out roughly where you want it to be. And do this one is this is too red, this is too blue, but the blue's almost looking better, right, than the red. Maybe somewhere in there. Too purple, too green. And of course, yeah, something like that. Hit OK. So now we went from this, and now we got this. You bring it down again, make another layer. That's going to get very repetitive very soon. You can see my teeth. I missed a little bit of his teeth there, so we can bring the original up here and bring it underneath the layer that we're currently working on. Open up, activate that top layer and make a mask, and just take your brush, make sure it's black, and you can go back in here and just mask out some of the teeth. I kind of made the teeth kind of orange. So anyways, merge down again. And we got that, so we can make another layer again. And what can we start with? Usually, most people start with filters, and they go screen spec normal. And they usually start with like LucasArts or whatever. So we'll start that way. Big it up so we can see what we're kind of doing. I kind of like that already, but you can see, yeah, that's too strong. Yeah, I kind of like that. Yeah, I kind of like it like that. So hit OK. Now we got that. Let's see, his face looks a little bit orangey to me, but anyways. Make another duplicate, and I can go here, and sometimes I do my adjustments. I go to play with my exposure sometimes. So this kind of like darkens the face, and exposure brings up the highlights a little bit. You can you don't want to go like too overboard. You just subtle, small adjustments is all you need. It's way more effective than having like a big dramatic change. So there we go, and now we got here and here. What do we like? I kind of like his beard on that one more than I like that one. But I like the highlights, how it highlighted better on this one. So what we're going to do, I'm going to go there, make a mask. Grab my brush, make sure it's black. And I'm just going to mask over the beard part because I kind of preferred it on the under layer. There you go, merge down. Bring it down. Now I can smooth in his skin using my blur tool, which is right here. You can use, you got your smudge sharpen or your blur, And just make my brush about that big, and I just tap over the areas I'm trying to smooth out. This is, you know, pretty common with Ave painting anyways. I know all you guys do it in your PSP as well. It's pretty common step. So I'm just going to like smooth out all his skin here. He has a little crease in his neck there. I don't want to go too far in the beard. I like keeping the beard kind of rough. Makes him look a little bit more manly. And so there's your before and there's your after. Make another layer. Oof. What are we going to do here? Oh, we got his hat here. We can, there's a couple ways to color it. And we got a little bit of shirt here. We can color his eyes as well. I'm going to show you this way. So I want to select the layer underneath it, and I'm just going to usually use Control U to go do it, but I'm going to go through this way just to show you guys. Adjustments and use saturation. You can see the Control U, the shortcut I was going to usually use. That brings up this one, and I'm just going to bring up the saturation a lot and bring it to like some weird color like purple. You can see it's turned green here over here. And I'm going to hit OK. And I can go here, make a mask, and just open up the eyes a little bit, or whatever you want to color. The eyes are kind of green. So I'm just going to mask out the eyes. And then go down to the lower cut, this one again. Control U for the shortcut. And you can kind of just go left and right to get what kind of eye color you want. Sometimes you colorize, it makes it more a standard color all the way across. You can play with your saturation, make it more blue. Don't go ridiculous blue, that looks ridiculous and not real. You just want to be kind of subtle. And sometimes you can make it darker or lighter. Usually a little bit lighter works better, just to make his eyes glow a little bit. You can see I got a little bit of blue in the corner here. We'll fix that later. And the mask here, and make sure it's on that. Oops. And just kind of, I got his eye hit on the blue. So now we got his eyes that went from like, this was what they look like, now they just look blue. It's very, very subtle. And you can merge it down, and you can make another copy. And, oh, got the controls on that? No, I can't. Can I? Yeah, okay. No, never mind. So now we can do other things like, I don't know, if we can make this shirt a different color. You can either, you know, do it the way we just did it, or you can just grab a brush and go to a blue here, like a light blue, and go to your mode, put it on color, and just paint over the shirt and make it a different color. And a little hint here, that's kind of greeny. I don't know if I like that green. Maybe make the hat similar color. I don't know. What do you think? I don't know if I like that green. It's darkened up just a little bit more. I don't mind it on the hat so much, but yeah, this shirt a little bit more on the blue side, even darker blue. Ah, that's better. I like that. Okay, so now we got, kind of goes with his eyes, makes his eyes stand out a little bit better. His hat's kind of green. I don't know if we want to go. Yeah, well, whoops, went a little bit too far on that. Because we're not using the other method, we gotta be a little bit more careful with how we paint this. The other one, you can always go over and just bring it back with a mask, but this way you can't really do that. So anyways. So now we went from here, we colored his eyes, his shirt, and this thing all blue. And we went down, and now I'm looking at his face and I'm thinking it's way too orange-like. So I'm going to go to use Control V again to bring up the color blend and see how it's blue here. We're going to go the opposite, so to make it more, it looks very red, so we're going to go to, what was it? Oh, because the red, his face looks too red, so we're going to go the opposite red, which is the blue, and just bring it down, and maybe the highlights. Ooh, never mess with the skin. Ooh, I like that. White shadows. Alright, now we're getting there. Yeah, bring back the midtones, maybe. That's all. Yeah. Just play with your things. Just very subtle moves. But you can see his skin's starting to come around a little bit. Still a little bit off, but that's, you know, a fairly big difference. Even his beard got a little bit darker and looks better. So that was a big improvement. So copy again. New layer. Now what can we do? Maybe we can bring in the background at this point, or we can go on with some other filters like what is it? Suppressed. My regular softener doesn't work. I had to use the softener too, but anyways, I like that. It's kind of making this face kind of glow a lot. I usually have this enable luminosity always on, but I like that effect right now already. So I'm just going to okay it, and yeah, you can kind of go up and down, like you can reveal and unreveal what you just did and see what it actually did. So that's definitely making his face look more like kind of a glow effect, but I don't like how it took away from here, and maybe the glow effect's a little bit too strong in its neck area. Mostly I don't like what it did to his hat and stuff. So here we go again. Make a mask. Make sure it's black. Your brush. And we're just going to go over the areas that we didn't really like the change on. So I liked his beard. It was better. I like the color of the other one though. But his beard was much better that way. And I didn't like how it changed to his neck. Maybe keep this here. So here we go. Yeah. His face is definitely glowing a little bit better, isn't it? Don't mind that at all. Merge it down. Make a new layer. Go to filters again. Sometimes this soften mood. Oh, ooh, look at that. That's way bright. Bring down the exposure. Contrast. There we go. Now we're getting more. Okay, that really softened his face up a little bit. I don't like it, but I like what it did to the edges and around the neck area. See how it sort of brought his face in a little bit. So here we go again. Mask. Shirt's black. Maybe down to about 26 or so. And you just start painting in the parts like you don't like his eyes the way they were. Around his beard. Like the facial features you usually bring back in. Bring his ear back in. All this roughness on his beard, I kind of liked it before. On his lips. Kind of like the roughness of it all. So basically, like, this mask is just revealing the layer below. Like the layer below looks like that. This is the layer on top. So you're just kind of turn this on and off, you can see the layer below and see what you like and don't like. So I kind of like how the darkness went underneath this hat. So I'm going to keep that in here. Maybe just tap some of these areas of the highlights just to make his face glow a little bit in the cheek. Down the nose line a bit. Keeping his eyes. Jeez, yeah, that's not bad. Get more of that ear in there. That. Yeah, kind of like that. So merge it down. Then we went from here. Faces will go a little bit softer. Might be too strong. You can always just bring this down a little bit percentage-wise. Okay, kind of like that better. Merge it down. Bring it up. Another duplicate. And now maybe bring in a background, which, I don't know. I kind of have some backgrounds cut up from that I was stealing off a page. Thank you, Callie. Love your backgrounds, by the way. So I just highlight this one, Control Copy, and I'm going to bring it in here. Control V, and here's kind of another trick. Like I got the background in there, and this is the space that's going in there, and there's another space there. So I'm looking on this background to a place that has something that's kind of interesting. I kind of like this, and if I just put it there where, you know, without moving it or anything, it's going to miss the negative space that we want up here. So I'm just going to put it right in there and move it right there, and I'm going to just make a copy of that layer. And here's the other negative space. It's kind of, it's this area here, so you got to keep that in mind. And you're going to find something interesting that you like in this background. I don't know what you like. Maybe you like this bar here, or I don't know. I don't like these swirls. I kind of like this section here. So maybe I'll get that section and have that right in there. And then all you do is make another mask. Get your black and white. And you kind of just go over. I kind of like this. It was kind of more interesting the other way, wasn't it? You just sort of mask it up so there's no like really crisp marks going over the area that you're going to be using. And you can merge this down. You can make another mask, your brush, and then you kind of bring in the face again, the mask behind it. His face is looking really red. We might have to change that again. Probably bring up your opacity in your brush just so it doesn't take so many clicks to get them back. And he had an ear up here, I believe. There's his ear. Just, you know, slowly work around and get all his parts back into the frame here. You can always change your color to white back again to get your, to bring the background in. You just play it between the black and white over here, which I'm just hitting my X button on my keyboard, and that you can see over here it switches it. So that's kind of like what you like here. And before I bring this down, you can actually select on the image again, not the mask. Make sure the image part is selected. You can go Control U, which brings out your hue saturation box again, and you can just sort of slide this and make it any color you want. Maybe you want to, or bring up the saturation even if you want. You can darken it or lighten it. I kind of like it on the darker side. Make the saturation go up. The saturation. I usually try to stay with saturation. I like vibrance instead of saturation. But I don't know. I kind of try to get that green to go more bluish to match with the hat. So, or you can use colorize and just do the whole thing blue if you want. Which, yeah, I think that kind of works in this situation. It kind of works. I kind of like the variety of. So, anyways, yeah, okay. Hit okay. So I like that better. And then, yeah, we can just bring it down, merge it with your bottom one. So that was before we put the background on. That's after. Make another duplicate. Here's another thing I like to do, because now it's just going from background to him right on it, and this looks like he's kind of floating there. Usually what I like to do is use my burn tool, and I make sure I have a soft edge, and make it about this big, and I just burn right along the edge here. So it looks like he's there, and don't worry about it, we'll fix his face going darker later on, and maybe just a little bit up here. It's more this way. And then make your mask again, make it black again, and then soft edge, and you can kind of maybe exposure. Well, it's not a brush. Bring your brush again, and just bring its face back in. And sometimes the the burning of the edge there darker. Sometimes I like leaving just a little bit of it left on his actual face, as opposed to just the background dropping off, and you can see the difference. See the background, how it really sets his face and makes it look like he's part of the background. It's just not just smacked right on. But sometimes just darken just the very edge of his face there, just to bring it in. That might be a little bit too much. Really, we'll see how I darken just the edge there. Brings it in and really makes them sit into the image a little bit better. So that's a little bit of a trick, I guess. Oops. Okay, so yeah, let's merge it down. So let's see. This is our beginning so far. This is how much we've changed it so far. It's pretty bit of a dramatic change. Not going pretty well. So let's make another whatever you call it, another duplicate. You can go back to filter again. Try something else. Maybe. Oh, this is a good one too. I like this. Where is it? The NYX effects, and they go down to your tonal contrast. I usually set these all back down to my 0 or whatever, roughly in that area, anyways. This. So that's kind of adding contrast on the highlights. But see how it's all whited out through this whole area, and when you bring up the contrast, now you have like sort of like a separation. So that's kind of good. That's like way too strong. You bring it down. The mid-tones way too dark. Like this, and then the shadows. Kind of like what it's doing to its beard. The color saturation, oh, that's horrible. Bring it down. Usually I have these on full strength both ways. Yeah. And hit OK. Let it do its thing. So that's before and after. Not bad. Sometimes you can change this mode to your luminosity to keep the color from beneath. Not too bad. I don't know. Go back to normal. I kind of like it a little bit faded up. I kind of liked his beard on the lower one, so here we go again. The mask, your brush. Beard's kind of going red when I do that. Don't like the red coming back in. So anyways, I'll add a little red underneath his cheek just to make him. It's not like blush or anything, but this gives him a little bit more life. Right underneath the neckline there a bit. Yeah, I kind of like that. That's your before, your after again. Maybe it might be a little bit too strong. Bring it down to about 80%. Merge down. Make another copy. I'm finding this neck to be a little bit too white, and his face is not as white as his neck, which is kind of weird. Usually your neck is darker just because of the shadow. So we could fix that by doing like a multiply there. See how everything went darker? Maybe make it around 37, 40% or something like that. Make another mask. Make sure your color is black. And just mask out his face so it kind of matches better. I don't know, what do you think? Let's just mask up the whole things. Bring back the white, because this is, just want to bring this neck down just a little. So what we got here, see how it, I think it just matches a little bit better to what his face is. Like that is too white and distracting. Anyways, so I just oops, let's control that back. Merge that down. Make another duplicate. What else do we got going on here? We can smooth out some of the skin again. This is the final touch. Merge, making out of that there again. We can do Control B again, and oh, there's something that I do that most people won't know. This one's kind of neat. So I got my duplicate already. You can see his skin. It's still not really popping out that too much. So, but he has a lot of like highlights, like pretty strong highlights. So what I'm going to do is go in here and do a color range, and just select like the highlights of his cheeks. Maybe usually his nose is usually the bright part, but it's not so much on this one. But this area here, and you can play with the fuzziness. Just you don't want to go like all out to make the whole thing. You just want the cheekbone in the one area. You can even like localize it. And what's this range button do? Yeah, so you just kind of want the cheekbone there. Hit OK, and you get like, your selection here. But I'm telling you, like I'm going to control hide, So Control H just to hide the marching ants. And you'll see if I go to image and adjust exposure, it's a little bit harsh. Like the change is a little bit harsh. You can go, before you do that, you can go into select, modify, and like feather. Just 1 pixel is enough. And it just sort of smooths out the area that you're going to affect. You can hit Control H again to hide the marching ants. Image, adjust, and go to exposure. And you can play with your like the gamma and the exposure just to make those areas just a little bit wider, a little bit brighter. It's not much of a change, but it does make a little bit of a difference. Makes it a little bit pop out a little bit more. And I don't know what else to do to this thing. We get back down here. I don't know what else we're going to do to this. We can try this other smooth. Ooh, that really makes it. Oh, I don't know. Do we like what it's doing there? I don't know. That's a little bit. I don't know. It's different. Now let's try that and see what it does. Oh, dummy. So I'm going to Control Z that, and we had that selection we had the marching ants still on there. So I hit Control D to get rid of the selection, and hit Control F to apply that filter again, and there's the filter. And you can see the before and after. I don't know what parts I like. Did it change anything? That kind of made the skin a lot more glowy in certain areas. Like this section here is a lot more glowy. Other than that, it didn't really do too much. Maybe soft out his neck a bit. So anyways, there's parts I like. I'm going to hit the mask. And make sure it's on black. And maybe it's easier just to take everything out first. And come back in here at about 30% opacity. And it's, I kind of like what it did to his cheekbones and definitely made this a little more glowy in here. Is glowy even a word? Oh yeah, I don't know. Words down. And I find his beard to be kind of more brown than black. I kind of want it to be black, so I'm going to take Control, make another duplicate, and maybe go to my color balance again, and work on your midtones. And that's making it more black. And shadows. More like that. So just looking at the beard, you can see how much more black it is in the second one. Here we go again. Merge. Your brush, make sure it's black. And I'm just going to increase my opacity and bring this all back. And just make it white again. Maybe bring down my opacity to like 30%. And just lightly touch some areas here. That make his beard just that much more black. And you can also, now that you got your mask on and just the area that is black, his eyebrows have to be color, you can click on the image again and not the mask. Make sure, like this is the, you can see it highlight, just the mask is active now. And if you click over here, now the actual image is active. And you can go back in and you can muck around with it more. Like you can see that turning his beard really purple. And maybe in the highlights, whatever. You can just kind of play with it to get your color a little bit more accurate. You're making blonde there. It's like ridiculous. That's more black. Or you can go Control U and bring it down the darkness a little bit, just in the area you got masked, which is basically the beard. I find that way better, right? Before or after, it's like he just dyed his beard. So you merge it down, and I don't know. I think that's going to be called finished. So you can. This is the original image, and this is the final one. It's a bit of a change. We go from here. We can kind of go the steps of how we got there. It's always interesting to go through and just see all the changes. Edit the background, playing around a little bit, and then the final one. And I'm going to add my my tag to this. And usually when I add my tag, I go Control U, making sure my tag's active, and I can just slide this and, you know, just pick a card that kind of goes with it. Usually it ends up being blue. Sometimes I pick up another color in the background, or sometimes I go completely opposite to the background just to make it stand out, make it like an orange. Orange kind of looks alright. Or blue kind of matches everything else. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm gonna go. Yeah, we're just gonna keep it blue. Yeah, okay. We're gonna move it around. Yeah, I don't know. You don't want to cover his face too much. That's kind of cool up there. Kind of like it up there, actually. But anyways, whenever we're probably going to go with somewhere around there. And that will complete the AV. I thank you guys for watching. I don't know if you learned anything. Maybe I babbled on too long. This video is quite a bit longer than the last one I did. I can show you the other one. I don't know if I did at the beginning of the video anymore. The last one I did, this was the start, and you can see some of the stages I took. I did here, and that was the final. And then, of course, with my logo on it at the end. But that was the other one that I kind of lost. I'm kind of pissed off about it. But anyways, this is the other one. That was the final result. Before and after. And my tag. Thank you for watching, and I hope you picked up something. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.